Hey Graham, ABCs of mopping. So fill it up to the second line on your mop bucket. As I'm sure you already know, any more than that and you're going to over dilute your chemical. Any less than that and your chemical is going to be too rich in the mixture. So just fill it up to that second line in the front of your mop bucket. Then grab one of your floor pods, throw that in there, let that take, usually if it's hot water, it'll take about 2 minutes to dissolve. If it's cooler water, it'll take about 5. Most important thing when you're mopping, wring out your mop. Okay, make sure that this, when you pick it out of here after you've wrung it out, it's not dripping. If it's dripping, it's too much water and it will look like this when it dries. Okay, now because you're usually in the store when it gets dark, you're not going to see that if you're not looking for it. But and then anytime that you're mopping, you'll notice I'm going over the same area twice. So I go over with one line, and this is in the break room. I'll go over one line of tile, and then I'll go over that same line again. Because the first time you go over, what you're doing is you're moistening what's on the floor. You're getting it wet. The second time you go over it, you're removing it. Okay? A lot of the times, if you only go over it one time, you're just spreading it around. All right? And then when somebody walks on it, if they have wet feet, you're going to end up leaving footprints there. So in any case, you'll notice I sit here, get around the edge of the table. I moved it to the other side. Now I'll move it back where it was. Okay. Anything that's in your way, just move it out of your way if you have to do a full mop. This area here, usually your break rooms and your restrooms I hit in total. Okay. So get around all the edges. You see here how I get in the corner, just flip that mop so you have you can push down on the strands of the mop, then put it back. Okay, and just, on a mop, then you're going to do the whole place this way. Now, as far as the stuff like getting in the corners and stuff like that, you don't have to do that every single day. Usually it's just the open areas, but you do want to check and maintain and take a look at those corners and the edges so that you know if they need to be done. All right. This is where the garbage can is. Move this thing out of the way. Get up in those corners. Now, a lot of this stuff that's in here is not going to come out. I've been mopping this place forever, and it's about the best you can do. And then the last thing I really want to show you is up underneath. So I'll get some garbage on the floor. Just throw that out. Okay. And then what you want to do is underneath the counter there, you want to pay close attention as you're going underneath the counter and get right into that edge. And the reason that you want to do that is because anytime anything spills, it ends up on that edge. So again, outline the whole room. You'll see here I dig right in. There was a spill there. But you want to edge the whole place, and then you fill in the middle. If you don't edge, what's going to happen is you're going to start to get a halo effect on the edges, that they'll start to get darker, and this is especially important down in the showroom. They will start to get darker, and then the next thing you know, you're going to have staining there. So you do, in order to avoid that, make sure you hit the whole area. All right, just little pieces of the mop. It's a new mop. All right, so when you come over and you're rinsing your mop, what you want to do is you want to kind of agitate it, just like you would if it was laundry, because you're trying to get all that stuff out of there. And then again, you're going to wring it out. You'll notice a ring. And then I push down on it. And I wring it again. And I get all that water out of there. Okay, if you have to do it 3 times, the most important thing is when you pick that up, make sure it's not dripping. All right? And so I'm going to run real quick through this, and then we're going to head into a bathroom. So just to recap, make sure you're getting all the water out of your mop. Make sure you're overlapping your passes with the mop. First pass is to wet, second pass is to clean. And I think the most important thing about mopping is make sure you're not walking over what you just mopped, because you're going to leave footprints everywhere. And one last rule of thumb, if it's not dry in 5 minutes, then you definitely put too much water on it and you're going to show water spots. All right, so now we are in our bathroom, and you'll see here, once you get your mop all wrung out, again, this is very important. I do this in every single bathroom that I've ever mopped. Make sure you get the entire perimeter, catch anything on the edge, because what happens if you're not getting the perimeter, the edges will start to darken, and because you're just pushing stuff around. Speaking about pushing stuff around, you'll notice whenever I run the mop, you'll see that it's all fanned wide open, just like you see in these. And then you kind of move the mop around in a figure eight. Now that mop there is a little dirtier than it was before, so I usually do this in every bathroom. About halfway through the bathroom, I'm going to flip that thing over and finish it up. Get behind the toilets, get around the sides. Biggest area right here is what most people miss. Get up in those corners, okay? Get right up close to these posts. Again, this is the corners, the areas that most people miss. Get that up, mop right in there. See if most of the stuff in this room, as you probably noticed, doesn't come off. And there you go. So that's a full-size bathroom right there, and took me literally about 47 seconds to mop the whole thing. And now we're going to do the smaller bathrooms over here in the hall. So I know this one here looks nice and familiar. So again, just mop around the edges, get behind your toilet, okay, and then fan your mop out, get around the back sides, make sure everything is hitting these bathrooms, okay. And again, mop this entire bathroom. It's just a once over with the mop. And this one here is so small. All these are small enough. You don't even need to flip your mop over. Good to go. Lastly, I want to show you in here the showroom. It's the same concept as in the restrooms. You're wringing out your mop well. You're fanning it open, and you're recycling over those areas, getting it wet with the first pass and wiping it off with the second or succeeding passes. Lastly, make sure you're not walking on what you just mopped, because then you're just going to ruin everything you just mopped with your dirty feet, leaving footprints. The only other thing is, you can see this is just a small section, and that's how you want to break it out. But if you're spot mopping, just pay attention to the reflections coming off the lights or from outside, and you'll be able to see footprints, anything else that needs to be cleaned off that way.